Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here. I'm today with a bit of a Toonami news update. The past couple months have been kind of light on Toonami news up until like the last 48 hours. And I feel like this is one of the first times I could confidently say that I'm not the first person to really point out these different news pieces. And the first obvious one is the controversy surrounding Uzumaki. Uzumaki, not well, when it first aired on September 28th, first episode came out. I did a quick review on it. It was great. I loved it, like 9.5 out of 10. It was an amazing episode, amazing art. It covered the plot pretty well, speed through things. Episode 2 was a little bit different. Emphasis with the word little doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. It was, according to most people, a disaster. Animation quality took a notable dip. It was a different animation studio, and I'll give you a little insight towards that in a second. And a lot of people also point out how they kind of tried covering many chapters at once, which made the whole plot a little muddled. And again, this is a plot. You know what the quote unquote correct answer is. We know what the plot is. Anyone can pick up and read Uzumaki because that's the plot. Yeah. And controversy became enough that Jason DeMarco on Blue Sky, him with all 25 people in the whole world that use Blue Sky, kind of talked a little bit about it. He pointed out basically that, oh, we kind of knew this would happen and that this was the best choice because it was either this or nothing, really. And then he kind of goes into detail about, well, there's someone who's at fault here. There's at least one, maybe two people who are at fault here. And the popular theory, which more I think about it, I also do hold, is that that person is likely referring to David Zaslav. Now, David Zaslav is the current head of Warner Bros. Discovery, and kind of a weird little thing to think about. When Uzumaki is first announced, that merger would not happen for at least another 2 years, which is kind of an insight about how long this production cycle has been for Uzumaki, with basically everything got in the way. And we might get a little insight about maybe the last year or two of the delays, because it was generally seen, okay, 2020, that's a wash, COVID, and definitely of how stringent restrictions were in Japan, not much was really being done at the time. Then 2021, it's like, oh, we're getting back to the office. But the animation, we kind of underestimated how hard it would be, and we just want to give you the best product. And then it kind of went dark in 2022 and 2023. You got a little tidbits here and there of like, oh, we're working hard on it, or like, here's the voice actors for it. But you didn't get any info about why we hadn't gotten it yet. And this might be why. We might have had some controversy where someone did something, and then a second animation studio had to produce the last 3 episodes of it. And the general theory, which honestly is probably the most rational theory I could think of, is Warner Brothers Discovery merger happened. David Zaslav, probably right when TBS basically everything got gutted, everything not named American Dad got gutted basically. TNT got gutted hard. And they're looking at Toonami, and of course we had the tax write-offs, Fena Pirate Princess, Blade Runner Black Lotus, and Shenmue Go Bye Bye. And he probably did take a cut to Uzumaki, but probably due to current deals in place, they couldn't just write off Uzumaki. So it's like, okay, we'll make it, but we're saving money. We're cutting costs. And this animation studio, what they're doing, that's going to cost us too much money. Find someone else in Japan who'll make it cheap. Probably what happened for the last 3 episodes. They were too far along in the first episode to stop that or to cut that and go to scratch. So that's probably what happened. And kind of more confirmation about that theory is the fact that these series of posts that Jason DeMarco make were almost immediately deleted within like an hour or two of him making them, which probably meant someone looking over the shoulder at Adult Swim was like, Jason, you can't do that. David's gonna get pissed. Do you like your job? Do you like your job, Jason? Don't do this. That's probably a violation of some type of NDA or something too, so he had to delete that. That's probably what happened. And again, uh, I could go into detail about another tidbit. I'll probably go on a 10-minute rant about something kind of tangentially related to this. All I'm saying is that Uzumaki, 4 episodes, took 5 years to produce. The animation quality for 3 of the 4 episodes is going to be poor, at least poor relative to the first episode, which again was a masterpiece. And there was another anime that was co-funded by an American company, announced only like 10 months ago. They probably started production before that. At the first so many episodes, I think 6 episodes leaked 2 months ago, officially released this past week, and it came out to an amazing reception. And it's the type of anime that you could definitely see being on Toonami if it wasn't, a Netflix co-original. If you follow anime, you know exactly what anime I'm referring to. If you follow my DeviantArt, you probably would because the main female character I've done some art of, or I made AI art of. I don't want to wade into the whole AI art controversy and stuff, that people are like, oh, it's not real art. But again, I told you I was going to get off topic. I told you I was going to get off topic. Again, Jason DeMarco more or less saying, yeah, we wanted to make a good show, but David Zaslav kind of cucked us. I mean, I like making fun of Jason DeMarco. I like pointing at his faults, but this really isn't his fault at all. It's not. It probably is. And I'm someone who's kind of taken up water for David Zaslav at times, probably more so than the average person. But yeah, this probably is Zaslav meddling. And you could talk about where the money was. Oh, would they have been able to make up the budget? I don't know. But it's one of those things when you're already so far along the project, you're multiple years into this project, you almost have to see it through at that point. Okay, and with all that talk about Uzumaki out of the way, let's talk about another little piece of news that actually came out a few hours ago, and that is Invincible Fight Girl. It will be debuting on Toonami at midnight on November 2nd. Date's notable because another thing a lot of people pointed out was times have been set up in such a way that Swordsmith Village, Uzumaki, and Rick and Morty the anime were all going to end on the same date. And we're presuming the week after that was going to be an Uzumaki marathon, the Saturday before Halloween, because, again, that's the reason why Uzumaki's airing now, because we're close to Halloween. And it's like, well, we have 3 shows, they're missing, we have 3 slots we have to fill, and unlike Naruto Shippuden ending, we probably can't get away with just putting in another rerun of My Hero Academia. And again, that's something we're going to eventually have to get. My Hero Academia Season 7 is going to eventually happen. At this point, I can almost state either we get it announced for like November 9th or 16th or something, or we'll have to wait until 2025 for it. I'm leaning towards the sooner because Konami is running out of shows at this point. Really, you can only go so far by having the whole One Piece catalog at this point and maybe throwing in My Hero Academia reruns. But again, Invincible Fight Girl is kind of a stopgap. And in many ways, you could kind of see it in the same way you could see My Adventures with Superman. This was not originally supposed to be for Toonami. It's not Adult Swim original. It's not a Toonami original. It was a show that was actually originally produced for Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network looked at it and it's like, this doesn't quite fit Cartoon Network. So hey, retool it a little bit, and we could probably throw it on Adult Swim. And that's what's happened, and it's going to be on Toonami. And again, it's like My Heroes with Superman. That's a first thought. My Adventures Superman, which we're going to have it thrown at midnight, and it'll be probably then put on Max the next day or something. And ultimately, I feel like people are going to ultimately forget this. I mean, a lot of people already kind of forgot My Adventures Superman had 2 seasons air on Toonami, despite having fairly decent ratings, if I recall correctly, on Toonami. It's gonna be the same situation. You can, I guess, hand wave and say, imagine like an American version of an OPMC show from, I guess, the title and what I've seen of the trailer. It's gonna be like, oh, this girl's an awesome fighter and she trains hard to be an awesome fighter. She's like female Saitama, or something. Female American Saitama or something. But man, I mean, that's not the type of show I'm particularly interested in. Could it work on Toonami? I mean, maybe. Obviously, I'm a little more pessimistic about that relative to My Adventure Superman, because again, My Adventure Superman was already kind of made for a bit more mature audience. Invincible Fight Girl is clearly like a Cartoon Network show that they're gonna try to make slightly raunchier. It's like when they tried making, or if you recall correctly, like 2019, they briefly aired Adventure Time on Adult Swim, and it didn't really go over that well. People didn't really like it on there because like it's a Cartoon Network show. It's a Cartoon Network show. And I could go on a rant. I mean, some of my first videos were talking about Adventure Time and how much I kind of hated how it ended. But I digress. So, to sum up all parts for this video, Uzumaki is not doing too well. at all, and that's an understatement. Jason DeMarco weighs in on it and kind of says, "Well, it's David Zaslav's fault," which it very plausibly can be. And Invincible Fight Girl, November 2nd. It'll actually air 2 episodes on that night. Afterwards, who knows what new shows we get? I mean, logically, I almost said My Adventures with Hero Academia or something. Jeez. My Hero Academia season 7 eventually should be on Toonami, likely sooner rather than later. I think they finished the whole season already in Japan. That was the summer 2024 release, and actually looked on Anime Corner. Unscientific, I know, but Uzumaki debuted the fifth best anime of fall 2024. That's going to change with the dip in animation quality. But that's the highest I think any Toonami original has been on that. I distinctly remember her Fena Pirate Princess, Housing Complex C, maybe Shenmue, cracking just inside that top 10. But I think number 5 at Uzumaki is the highest in originals. But by comparison, at their like end of the season, summer 2024 poll, of the 65 anime that were covered, the Rick and Morty anime finished 59th. So Toonami original anime don't really do too well. And you could talk about how unscientific Anime Corner is, and it is. There's a lot of faults with that poll and that system, but it's the closest thing we can have to like a heartbeat or a pulse of like what people are watching, what people really like, at least regards to anime, you know. But ultimately, you just see that, and you know, it is what it is, you know. And by comparison, that anime I was alluding to earlier, which if you're smart, you realize I'm referring to Dandadan, was second in the first week poll and was the highest ranked new anime behind, I believe, ReZero Season 3, which of course returning Season 3, which is an anime I'm kind of surprised Toonami never tried making a move from back in the day. Listen to me, I'm probably going on for, let me check how long I've been going for, 12 minutes, and I've gone nowhere. So again, one more time, Uzumaki not doing so well, Jason Marco weighs in, and Fight Girl, November 2nd. Leave your comments, leave your opinions below. I'm Super Orange Cat, and that is all.